phone had, hi everybody, my phone had overheated, and on top of that, my computer showed that it was recording, but it didn't record. I told y'all I feel Mercury retro in its shadow period more than any other time. So nevertheless, let's get into it. I'm going to roll through these aspects. So basically, because I'm trying to get my things up on, because y'all know I'm a visual creature. So, and I need my visuals, and the computer's acting stupid. So anyway, moon is the moon and Pluto are at an exact conjunction at this time, at 19 degrees. So we may have some power struggles. When I just look now, it's in the second house. This is taking place in the second house here on the East Coast at this very moment. You might just want to keep up with what's rising, and that, well, not necessarily what's rising, excuse me, but what house Capricorn is in at any given time. If you feel shit about to like that is brewing or whatever, because this is whenever we have Pluto Moon conjunction, there is a power struggle, especially if these individuals are not, you know, evolved and working on a higher octave, if you will, if they're not behaving in an exalted manner, if you will. So, I would say, because especially Capricornian energy, as I said, Capricorn energy can tend to be very, like, do as I say, and very, like, strict, cold, to the point, and kind of can hit people where it hurts, but it's the honest truth. And, you know, someone might be very sensitive to that, and they pretend that they're not, but they sincerely are, okay? And especially if this is taking place in the 8th house, God help you. Watch your bags, watch your money. You know, people might just try to bully you into giving them something. People might try to bully you into conversation. People might try to bully you, depending on the house. People might try to bully you into, like, out of your possessions, okay? So, that's Moon conjunct Pluto in Capricorn right now. Excuse me, the Moon will be separating from Pluto shortly. So, let's just, excuse me. And we got Mars. We got a whole stellium right now in Capricorn. We got Mars retrograde in Cap as well. We got Saturn at the earlier degrees of Cap. So, you know, this energy is about getting it done, but getting it done with, like, Capricorn precision, with power and no nonsense, and you're shutting a lot of bullshit down when it comes to communications, and making sure that we're coming across as we, I'm sorry, y'all, as we intend to be seen. I don't even know how long that was playing. It just, like, hit me in my mind that I was listening to some crazy shit. So, anyway, let's hop into these aspects. So, I just did Moon conjunct Pluto. So, you know, being that when I looked at it, it was in the 3rd house, I just feel like there's going to be a call into that. Let's remember another thing, too. When we're traveling short distances today, be mindful not to get into, and that's what it is. Now I know. I just got the download. We're coming upon a full moon. Do not argue with anybody. And this goes even more so, because we have the Moon conjunct Pluto. And when I looked, it was in the 3rd house when we're dealing with communications. And we're not dealing with immediate family. We're dealing with our neighbors or community or short distance travel. So in any realm of those realities, as Dola would say, in one of those realms of reality, I would personally be mindful with my mouth and getting haughty with people, because it can get ugly, okay? As I said, because, you know, when we're dealing with Pluto, we are dealing with conscious power, but a lot of what we do, we may not understand or understand why, but that's a whole nother, we understand why, but I'll go deeper into that. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So, Moon sextile Jupiter. So what is a sextile? Basically, it's a supportive energy, right? So when we're dealing with this in a transit, there can be some sort of discovery, encouragement. But this is between the moon and Jupiter. So this is going to be highlighting some sort of generosity, wisdom, strength and knowledge, or strength and wisdom would behoove us. Taking advantage of taking advantage of these opportunities that we may not always get, like relating to how we really feel about situations, and maybe we didn't have enough information before to understand or understand where somebody's coming from, or just, you know, maybe even with school, maybe all of a sudden these things become a little more clear. But we're dealing with Jupiter and Scorpio moon in the 3rd, so and so let me see, because I'm not gonna guess. Let's see. So if we have, it'll come back to me. My brain just went elsewhere. Yeah, I guess it's really not that important. I can't sort through the index, the Rolodex and index, whatever you want to call it in my mind. But basically, you know, this is a supportive energy, you know, meeting someone, because the moon is how we're dealing with people beneath the surface, right? And Jupiter is in Scorpio, so, you know, we're definitely going deep. I always think about Jupiter like a heavy-ass sponge, like it's big and it's heavy, and while it's in Jupiter, it has jumped into the ocean, and it's just like going straight to the bottom at full speed, but it's getting depth, and it may even go through the pits of hell just to rise from the motherfucking ashes like the phoenix. But my whole point is that when we're dealing with this, with others, and this is how we're dealing with others beneath the surface, it's time to recognize the depth of where someone is coming from, okay? Being wise in our decisions, and you know, really considering, you know, being more tender, okay? And encouraging others. And the sextile needs a spark, if you will, all right? So someone's got to initiate it, right? So one could initiate by even just encouraging another, all right? But there's going to be some sort of discovery but this requires some sort of triggering, some sort of activation, if you will, coming, and this will bring some sort of equilibrium. We're having this conversation. As I said, I didn't look at the aspects to Mercury, which I should have, but they were I'm not going to go there, but equilibrium and tranquility can come from this wisdom that you gain on today. Excuse me, did I say Gemini? Okay, because it's a Capricorn Jupiter situation. So, and Jupiter's in Scorpio. So we have a sextile there. Right? But there was something else I wanted to bring. But anyway, my mind is like going other places because this is my 2nd time doing this video. So things are on the up and up when we're talking about the moon sextile Jupiter. Yeah, let me see my little notes back here. So let's talk about the sun sesquiquadrate the moon. So that's a 135-degree angle, and this generates friction. And we got to be mindful in this energy because the sun is currently at the 29th degree of Leo. At least it was when I did when I did my notes, when I wrote my notes earlier. So we may feel ready but not be clear. I kind of do feel like that. I'm not going to hold y'all up, but you know what? I just felt like I need to be more consistent overall. So it is what it is. Get it in where I can and how I can. But be flexible when it comes to implementing, and, you know, build on the integrity, because we can have a certain way that we expect things to work. But, you know, let's just, like I was saying the other day regarding the new moon solar eclipse, new moon partial solar eclipse, right? Part of that was dealing with, one of the things I mentioned was you know, how does your audience feel? Because we're focusing on what makes our eyes colder, right? So how does your how does your audience feel about what you're doing? Do you need to make these, you know, today is a day in which you need to consider what sort of adjustments you need to make. I know I've already made some today. Okay? Whole nother story for a whole nother day. Okay, so again, when we're dealing with the third house, we're dealing with somebody's mental structure, the way that they were actually raised. So, you know, this can be pointing to, you know, you might even remind this individual of their mother to a certain degree. If you're dealing with someone, then be mindful of their mental structure. Or maybe, you know, if a person doesn't feel like this other individual reminds you of your mother, because I'm dealing with the moon, and I'm not breaking everything down. Those who are astrologically inclined somewhat understand where I'm coming from. But, so, mental structure. So, being that people are raised differently, in different households. Just be mindful of how other people may have been raised, okay? Be sensitive. Be sensitive, because this can kind of trigger people today. I'm sorry, y'all. Other things are going on around me and can kind of throw me off. But anyway, nevertheless, when we're dealing with, that's why I got my handy dandy index cards. When we're dealing with the third house, we're also dealing with short distance travel, okay? So be mindful of getting into arguments with people. Oh, and we're right upon did I already say this in this video? I'm sorry, I did the video twice. But I think I already mentioned the thing about the full moon. We're almost upon a full moon. So be mindful of that, because people are going to be heavy. And let this, if you should look at a chart of the moment today and you see that Pluto and the moon are conjunct, and it's in, we're just separating up into like a 7-degree orb, going while Pluto is while the moon is separating from Pluto, and it's in the 8th house. Be mindful of your goods, your money, anything that's someone else's, or that's yours. Somebody that you're dealing with could be coming after what belongs to you, if you will. So just be mindful, because even I could just keep on feeling like with the neighborhood thing. And with our neighbors, do not argue with neighbors. Remember, when we're dealing with the full moon energy, because it's right upon us, we are dealing with emotions set on high. People are easily triggered. Okay? Let me hurry up. I only got 2 more minutes. So, don't waste your energy in meaningless fights. Respect people's views. Wearing down patience. Don't allow people to do that to you. This warns against accidents and incidents. Like I said, it's more likely to pop off during a full moon, which we have on August 26th. So then we have, let's talk about this subtle energy really quickly. So the moon, sextile Neptune, the instinct we're dealing with beneath the surface. We're dealing with realization, discovery once again. So maybe discovery of hidden talents. We may not want to actually have the physical, or we might have the physical energy, but just feel more so like brainstorming about fantasy, about our creativity, about bringing things from the spirit realm into the material. So also dealing with guardian angels and messages. Listen to your heart, listen to your soul, listen to your spirit guides, because what's being said is very subtle. It's a subtle energy at this time. Okay, so yeah, listen for the inspiration. And that's all I have, guys. I will talk to you later. Mwah, 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 mwah. And I will get to those readings mañana, because I have some other things to do. Bye, guys.